Well, I hope that you're doing well. I hope today has been a good day for you. Um, I hope your week has gone well so far. If it hasn't, I'm sorry. If you're sick or you're hurting in any way, we certainly want to let you know that we love you and that we're praying for you. If we don't know about your illness or if anything is going wrong in your life, please let us know. We want to be praying for you, and we want you to know that we are lifting your name up before our Father as much as possible. We're in Genesis chapter 27. We have a little bit of catching up to do before the online is where we are in person. We've switched positions. The in-person class is now ahead. Before the online class was ahead. So we need to get down a little bit. So we were in verse 6, I think is where we left off of chapter 27. Rebekah said to her son Jacob, I have heard your father speak to your brother Esau. Bring me game and prepare for me delicious food that I may eat it and bless you before the Lord before I die. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice as I commanded you. Go to the flock and bring me 2 young goats, so that I may prepare from them delicious food for your father, such as he loves. And you shall bring it to your father to eat, so that he may bless you before he dies. So we see exactly what is happening, right? Isaac is ready to pronounce upon Esau a special blessing of some type. It seems that this is the patriarchal blessing. Now, this might cause a bit of confusion because we remember that Rebekah was told, when she was having excruciating pain in her womb and it was causing her emotional distress, hey, you have 2 nations battling it out in your womb, and the younger is going to rule over the older. We would assume that the patriarchal blessing was going to go to Jacob, right, instead of Esau. Legally, Jacob is the one that has the right to the patriarchal blessing because he took Esau's birthright. But it seems in Isaac's mind that Isaac knows that the blessing that God made to Abraham is to go to Jacob, that is not to go to Esau. So it seems that in Isaac's mind, there's a distinction between the patriarchal blessing and the special promises of God that God made to Abraham that Isaac seems to know are Jacob's and not Esau's. Nevertheless, Rebekah, she seems to be on a different wavelength because she wants Jacob to receive that patriarchal blessing. Now, what we see is 2 things really. Esau and Isaac seem to have more of a special relationship, and Rebekah and Jacob seem to be more aligned in their relationship. Notice how Isaac spoke to Esau. It says exactly that. He spoke to him. Notice what the text says about Rachel. Rachel commanded Jacob. What does that tell us about the relationship of Rebekah and Jacob? Well, their relationship doesn't seem to be a reciprocal relationship. Esau and Isaac's relationship seems to be a more reciprocal relationship. Rebekah seems to be the dominant one in the relationship, but nevertheless, she's ready to trick Isaac. She's ready to take advantage of his old eyes, right? The only reason that Isaac is very motivated to go ahead and pronounce this blessing is he senses that his time is coming near, although his time isn't really coming near. The thought of death is really driving his decision here. Anyway, Jacob is a bit apprehensive about this plan to trick his father. He says, But Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, Behold, my brother Esau is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. So number one, he thinks they're going to get caught right off the bat, right? They don't look the same. And because they don't look the same, they definitely don't feel the same. Esau, like Jacob says, is a hairy man, and obviously Jacob is not. So he thinks, yeah, Dad might not be able to see, but he is certainly able to feel. So all he's going to have to do is touch me, and he's going to realize that I am not his son Esau. Perhaps my father will feel me, notice, and I shall seem to be mocking him and bring a curse upon myself and not a blessing. So notice, Rebekah wants Jacob to do what she is saying because she wants Jacob to receive the blessing. But notice what Jacob thinks in his mind. If I do this and I get caught, I'm not getting a blessing at all. I'm going to get a curse, which we know is far worse. You'd rather have no blessing at all than receive a curse. I mean, that's just kind of common sense, I think. His mother said to him, Let your curse be on me, my son. Only obey my voice and go and bring them to me. In other words, let me handle this. If he gets upset and he curses you, I'll take the curse for you. So Jacob, being obedient, went and took them and brought them to his mother, and his mother prepared delicious food such as his father loved. Then Rebekah took the garments of Esau, her older son. So apparently Rebekah had already thought through this, or she was able to come up with a plan quickly after Jacob brought this to her attention. We know that Jacob was worried about his father feeling him and him not feeling hairy. So she goes. She gets Esau's garments. She puts them on Jacob. Verse 16, and the skins of the young goats she put on his hands and on the smooth part of his neck. And she put the delicious food and the bread which she had prepared into the hand of her son Jacob. Okay, so why does she put Esau's garments on Jacob? Well, not only is there a problem with a potential problem of Esau feeling Jacob and realizing that he's not Esau, there's also a potential problem of Isaac smelling. And listen, if you've heard me get the names wrong, thinking that Jacob did something that Isaac did, or Isaac did something that Jacob did, I promise you in my mind, I know what each one is doing, but I just, for some reason, I cannot keep the names straight. I never have been good at doing that. So forgive me. If I say Jacob and it should have been Isaac, I meant Isaac. If I say Isaac and it should have been Jacob, more than likely I meant Jacob. Thank you for bearing with me there. Anyway, there's this potential problem of Isaac smelling Jacob and realizing that he doesn't smell like Esau. Well, that's an easy fix. Just go get some of Esau's clothes. Esau is a man of the field, right? He likes nature. He's going to smell like nature. Therefore, he's not going to smell like Jacob, but you put Esau's clothes on, hey, problem solved, right? I'm wearing, you didn't need to know this, but I'm wearing a golf shirt that I recently golfed in, and this might be too much information, but I haven't washed yet. Well, guess what it smells like? It smells like outside, particularly like I've been playing golf. So, same type of deal. So he went into his father and said, My father, and he said, Here I am. Who are you, my son? Jacob said to his father, I am Esau, your firstborn. Now he lied by saying that he was Esau. He stretched the truth by saying he was his firstborn, because legally he is his firstborn, because he's taken Esau's birthright. So I've done as you have told me. Now sit up and eat of the game, that your soul may bless me. But Isaac said to his son, How is it that you have found it so quickly, my son? He answered, Because the Lord your God granted me success. Now think about reading this story with a fresh set of eyes. That is to say, think about reading this story like you had never read it before. This is a very tense moment, right? Because he asked him a question. How have you done this so fast? I mean, this isn't normal. Well, Jacob, apparently being quick on his feet, just brings God into the equation, and that seems to solve the problem. Well, if you want to know how I was able to have success so fast, it was because God gave me success. Okay, well, there's really no arguing with that. Then Isaac said to Jacob, Please come near that I may feel you, my son, to know whether you are really my son Esau or not. So Jacob went near to his father, who felt him and said, The voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And he did not recognize him because his hands were hairy like his brother Esau's hands, so he blessed him. So Isaac seems to be a bit skeptical here, but not enough to call Jacob on it. Then he said, "Bring it near to me that I may eat of my son's game and bless you." So he brought it near to him, and he ate, and he brought him wine, and he drank. Then his father Isaac came to him and said, "Come near and kiss me, my son." Well, here we go. He's going to be smelt if he's going to give his father a kiss. So he came near and kissed him, and Isaac smelled the smell of his garments and blessed him and said. Now, notice this blessing, because this really gives us an idea of how Isaac really viewed this blessing that he was going to pronounce originally, or he intended to pronounce upon Esau and not Jacob. Why I'm bringing this up is, like we've said before, some people are like, how could Isaac do this? He should have known that God's the promise that he made to Abraham was supposed to come to fruition with Jacob. It wasn't supposed to go to Esau. Well, I think Isaac realized that. See, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field that the Lord has blessed. May God give you of the dew of heaven and of the fatness of the earth and plenty of grain and wine. Wow, that seems to perfectly describe Esau's likings, right? This is part of the special blessing. Let peoples serve you. Now here's where we get into more of the patriarchal blessing. And nations bow down to you and be Lord over your brothers, and may your mother's sons bow down to you. Cursed be everyone who curses you, and blessed be everyone who blesses you. And as soon as Isaac had finished blessing Jacob, when Jacob had scarcely gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, Esau his brother came in from hunting. We got a problem. And he also prepared delicious food and brought it to his father. And he said to his father, "Let my father arise and eat of his son's game, that you may bless me." His father Isaac said to him, "Who are you?" He answered, "I am your son, your firstborn, Esau." Then Isaac trembled very violently and said, "Who was it then that hunted game and brought it to me? I ate all before you came and have blessed him. Yes, and he shall be blessed." Okay, why is Isaac so upset? We might be of the mindset, okay, you were deceived, so just take back what you said. Well, that's not how a blessing from the patriarch would work. Once the patriarch delivered his blessing, that blessing was final. It doesn't matter the circumstances that revolved around the giving of that blessing. Once it comes out of his mouth, that is it. There is no ritual you could perform. There's nothing you could do to reverse the words that had already been spoken, and Isaac knows it. So he knows that he cannot go back on his word, and he knows there's no way that he's going to be able to give Esau the same blessing. That's not how it works. In other words, I think we're to realize here that the blessing is more powerful than the one actually giving the blessing. Well, as soon as Esau heard the words of his father, he cried out with exceedingly great and bitter pain and said to his father, "Bless me, even me also, O my father." Notice his response. But he said, "Your brother came deceitfully and has taken away your blessing." Esau said, "Is he not rightly named Jacob? For he has cheated me these 2 times. He's a trickster, in other words. "He took away my birthright, and behold, now he has taken away my blessing." Then he said, "Have you not reserved a blessing for me?" Isaac answered and said to Esau, "Behold, I have made him lord over you and all his brothers, and I have given to him for servants, and with grain and wine I have sustained him. What then could I do for you, my son? What is there left? What else could you possibly want me to say? Nothing is going to be as good as that. I gave him the best blessing that I could possibly give." Esau said to his father, "Have you but one blessing for me, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father." And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. Then Isaac his father answered and said to him, "Behold, away from the fatness of the earth shall be your dwelling." Why? Because that blessing went to Jacob. "And away from the dew of heaven on high." Why? Because that blessing went to Jacob. "By your sword you shall live, and you shall serve your brother. But when you grow restless, you shall break his yoke from your neck." So in giving Esau this blessing, Jacob is acknowledging, listen, here's what I can do for you. I can tell you that life is going to be hard. Life is going to be rough, but you'll make it. That's about as good as Isaac says that he can do for Esau. The fruit of the earth isn't going to grow well. You're really going to have to fight for it. You're not going to be at peace with people. You're going to have to use the sword, but the only thing I can do is bless you so that you're successful in those endeavors. So now Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing with which his father had blessed him, and Esau said to himself, the days of mourning for my father are approaching, then I will kill my brother Jacob. So, I mean, he's at his max point, right? It's time to do something about this. Hate is leading him to think about murder. But the words of Esau, her older son, were told to Rebekah, so she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said to him, behold, your brother Esau comforts himself about you by planning to kill you. Now, therefore, my son, obey my voice, arise, flee to my brother Laban, my brother in Haran, and stay with him a while until your brother's fury turns away. Until your brother's anger turns away from you and he forgets what you have done to him, then I will send and bring you from there. Why should I be bereft of you both in one day? So Rebekah is good at overhearing things, right? She overhears that Esau plans to kill Jacob. Well, that's a problem because she really loves Jacob. She also loves Esau because notice that she says, hey, if Esau does this thing, I'm going to lose both of my children. Well, why would she lose both of her children? If Esau killed Jacob, that still leaves her Esau. Well, probably not, because probably the next of kin would have to come along and avenge the blood of Jacob by killing Esau. So she actually would lose both of her children. So she has to think about what to do. Well, obviously, Jacob needs to get married at some point. He needs to preserve the integrity of the offspring. Therefore, he needs to travel back to the land of Abraham, to Haran, so that he can take a wife from the line of Terah. So she thinks, okay, while Esau's upset and he's fuming, he'll cool down, but he's going to need a while, so you'll go find yourself a wife, and when you come back, everything will be good. Little did Rebekah know that when Jacob left, he would be gone about 20 years. So, a little twist there. Then Rebekah said to Isaac, I loathe my life because of the Hittite women. Now, what's this about? Well, remember, Esau's already married 2 Hittite women, and they seem to be causing a lot of problems, not only for Rebekah, but also for Isaac, because as you can imagine, Isaac should have been pretty upset with Rebekah at this point after what has already gone on. But notice, in order to further her plan, to bring her plan to fruition by getting Jacob to go to Haran, she needs Isaac's blessing for that. So she goes to him knowing he's probably going to be angry, but she seeks some common ground in her conversation with him. I know he's upset, but I know we both don't like those Hittite women. I know those Hittite women both cause us problems, so if I bring this up, surely he'll do what I want him to do. So notice, if Jacob marries one of the Hittite women like these, one of the women of the land, what good will my life be to me? We've already got 2, Isaac. If Jacob brings home a Hittite woman and they're married, life is going to be miserable for us. It's going to be terrible. Well, obviously, Isaac knows the amount of trouble that these 2 Hittite women have caused him in his life. Then Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and directed him, you must not take a wife from the Canaanite women. Arise, go to the house of Bethuel, your mother's father, and take as a wife from there one of the daughters of Laban, your mother's brothers. In other words, Jacob, don't do what your brother Esau did, right? Now, Isaac seems to have been a weak spiritual leader in the home. He should have told both of his boys about the women that they were to marry. Okay, he's telling Jacob this now, but he's only telling Jacob this now, don't go marry a Hittite woman, because that's already happened in the family. and he knows the drama and the trouble that has come with that. He should have really told them this before. But anyway, Rebecca gets her wish. He tells him, hey, go to Laban's house, find you a wife that will ensure the integrity of the line. This is where we'll stop. We'll pick back up here next week. I hope you have a great rest of the week. God bless.